of America and was the first step to completing Manifest Destiny. The railroad became the backbone of the country, carrying people and supplies from the industrial east to the developing west.
During the 1800s, many people traveled by horse and buggy, which made travel long, hard, and often dangerous. There were many railroads during this time, but none of them connected the whole continent. Because of the Transcontinental Railroad, it would only take 6 days to travel from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. Before this, it took 6 months.
People were now able to move west more easily, and they did so in huge numbers. Communities began popping up along the entire span of the railroad, which began in Omaha and went all the way to Sacramento, California. The railroad was officially completed when the Central Pacific and Union Pacific Railroads met and combined in Utah at Promontory Summit. The railroad was officially completed on May 10th in 1869 with a big event where a ceremonial golden spike was hammered in by Leland Stanford, president of the Southern Pacific Railroad. This golden spike symbolized the wealth of the railroad, but was replaced with an ordinary one immediately following the event. The main civil engineer charged with designing the Central Pacific Railroad was Theodore Judah. Judah, along with the other engineers who designed the railroad, had to overcome the many geographical obstacles they encountered. On the Union Pacific side, the big man involved with creating the Transcontinental Railroad was Thomas Clark Durant, the vice president of the company at the time. Durant was involved with the Credit Mobilier scandal. Ultimately, the Transcontinental Railroad was created to make expansion easier and connect the two coasts of the country. Many of the individuals involved with the construction were mostly interested in the money they were projected to earn through the new form of westward travel. The Transcontinental Railroad had a great variety of impacts.
It opened new economies in the American West while consuming vast quantities of its natural resources. It birthed one way of life on the Great Plains and destroyed another. In making the road, a young nation would display its capacity for boldness, ingenuity, and industry. It would also reveal its capacity for greed, graft, and mindless violence.
The new Transcontinental Railroad impacted all areas of life. One of these impacts was on telling time, as can be seen in this headline. The railroads created time zones to make it easier for their conductors as they traveled across the country. The railroad provided many jobs during its construction, and once it was completed, those workers often stayed out west in the new towns that popped up along the span of the railroad. Beyond population expansion, the Transcontinental Railroad also stimulated economic expansion, with new markets opening up and a new way to transport goods from coast to coast. The Transcontinental Railroad changed much of life during Reconstruction. It took people away from the tensions of war and toward the new tomorrow, where westward expansion took center stage and Manifest Destiny was on the verge of being completed.